And then it's like, okay, I'm now raising children. I have more children than most people would believe. How do I protect my children from this insanity? Can I trust a Christian nation? Some of them. To a large degree, they oppose quite a lot of this stuff.
The burning heat, long hours, and empty stomachs. This is the reality for children in Malawi and Ethiopia. They toil tirelessly, struggling to find enough to eat. It's heartbreaking, but we can change their story. By supporting our Qurbani campaign, we can bring joy and sustenance to 40 deserving families. Your kindness will make a world of difference. Let's make sure these little ones don't go hungry anymore. Donate to our page and let's give them a brighter future, inshallah. Link in the description box below. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. As we live in an age of immorality and vulgarity present everywhere around us, haven't we heard from our parents and grandparents that it was not present when they were young? Did movements such as same-sex marriage and one love for all always get as much glory as they do now? Why is it that we Muslims are considered backward when it comes to accepting the concept that love knows no boundaries? Same-sex marriages are allowed and even celebrated in 34 countries, none of which are Islamic nations. Many nations are still considering including this, but none of the Muslim nations have come forward to even ponder this. All this is because no matter how much the Muslim Ummah is divided right now, it will remain united at least on the issue of LGBT relationships, even if the whole world accepts it. The famous influencer Andrew Tate recently shared his viewpoint regarding the issue of same-sex relationships with Patrick Bet-David.
Sex the way through LGBTQ, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? It's normal, it's normal, it's normal. No, it's not normal.
So then you extrapolate that out, and I was sitting and thinking, what's the primary function of a religion? And the primary function of a religion, I don't believe is the religion exists so I can live forever. I mean, that's a nice thought. But I think on a macro level, the primary objective of a religion is to restore and contain some degree of traditional value within the society. How do you judge, let me change the way I worded that. How do you judge the success of a religion? I don't think you can judge it by the number of people who join it, because there's lots of people who are Catholic who don't act Catholic. They don't act in any way particularly Christian. Anyone can say they're something. You can walk into a strip club and everyone says they're Christian. It doesn't mean anything, right? So how do you judge the success of a religion? Well, I like to think the best way to judge the success of a religion is how successful is it at fighting evil? How successful is it at preserving the morality of a population in X parameter, in X geographical area? So when you look at it from that way, you can't say that Islam isn't the most successful religion on earth. It's the most successful in regards to opposing evil. It's the most successful in regards to opposing its differing viewpoints. It's the most successful in regards to having people act within the limits and the confines of what it finds to be moral and good to God. It's the most adhered to. It's the most feared. It's the most respected in most forms. And there was a bunch of English people who were complaining about there's too much immigration, we're losing our culture. And I understood their point absolutely. But these are the same people complaining about all the left-wing LGBT in schools and all these issues. And I was like, the only allies you have against this are the Muslims. They're the only allies you have in any of this. The Christians don't protest against any of this stuff. There's very few Christians who will get up off the complain. In fact, I saw on Twitter yesterday, one of the churches was lit up in rainbow. And they put it all together. You're an enemy of all these people. And they complicate the argument and they mix it all together. And now you're a bigot. And really, you just want your kids to be left alone. Really, you just want to leave the children alone.
Of course.
All you want to do is leave your kids alone. And then it's like, okay, I'm now raising children. I have more children than most people would believe. How do I protect my children from this insanity? God. Which God can protect my children? Allah, Islam. I'll move them to Dubai or Saudi Arabia, and none of this will happen. Can I trust a Christian nation? Some of them. Romania is a Christian nation, and to a large degree, they oppose quite a lot of this stuff. But they're also NATO, and they're also EU, and they also rely on bailouts and grants and money. And on a long enough time frame, even in the 7 years I've lived here, I have watched certain attitudes change because money buys influence and power.
If we were to say which religion's the far right, it's going to be Muslim. Totally get it. They're on the far right. Christian today is kind of going center left today. Like they're kind of being soft right now. Okay. So if I want to raise my kids, I'm going to take my kids to Dubai, and I'm going to take my kids to Saudi Arabia. Why? Because I'm defending against some of these immoral philosophies that they have. I don't want to go there.
My problem is when you take a person who's unarmed, who's innocent, who is programmable like a child and start inflicting your worldview on them. That is disgusting and it's immoral. That is unfair and it can't be accepted on any level. And that's the reason homosexuality is genuinely outlawed in these countries. Not because they fear what two full-grown men are going to do. They fear what's happened in the West. It's what two full-grown men are going to purport on the minds of children which aren't theirs. That's what they're afraid of.
Andrew Tate expressed that these issues were at some point opposed by Christians as well as Muslims. But now that the wave of this concept has swept, it has swept along with it many Christians too. Muslims never stoop down to accept this propaganda, but they still oppose it with all their might, showing zero tolerance for such ideas. He said that there are religious Christians who are totally against this movement, but they are unable to explain it to their children about its harms, as other Christians themselves are supporting, if not totally involved in it. Andrew Tate explained that these people will continue to try with all their might to corrupt the minds of their kids, and that is why he feels the need to move to somewhere safe for the kids. And the safe places are none other than Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, Dubai and Qatar. Most of the Muslims who live in secular or Christian nations have felt the need to migrate to an Islamic land where they will be able to protect their children from the so-called modern wave. Even if the Islamic nation is not extremely developed, it adheres to the basic Islamic principles that will help us as parents keep our children safe from these issues. In countries where same-sex marriage got legalized, the Muslim community thought they wouldn't be affected, but as time went by, such ideas got normalized and even more accepted. Now the school curriculum has also introduced such concepts, and even parades and events are organized to show the inclusiveness of this community. No other religion except Islam takes a clear stance against homosexuality, as the people of Lut alayhi salam who used to practice this act were clearly mentioned in the Quran as transgressors. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Why do you men lust after fellow men, leaving your pairs that your Lord has created for you? In fact, you are a transgressing people." The Quran clearly states that when it comes to the issue of gender, it is binary and not multiple identities based on how a person feels or thinks. Such a movement was predicted by our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ at a time when no one would have thought that such a thing could ever happen on such a large scale. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "One of the signs of the approaching end of the world, the hour, is that men will find satisfaction with men and women will find satisfaction with women." Astaghfirullah. What Brother Andrew Tate said was nothing but true. If we are able to migrate to an Islamic nation, then one should do so for the betterment of their children. We do not know what the future holds for them, how society will encourage them, or how they will get brainwashed when they witness their own best friends and even teachers involved in something that is totally forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us and our children from the traps of shaitan. Ameen. That's it for today, brothers and sisters. I hope you liked the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, share this video with your family and friends. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.